What's going on, everyone? So the Dallas Mavericks have officially eliminated the number one seed, Oklahoma City Thunder. After they won the last game, it kind of felt like this was going to be the end for OKC. OKC is going to be an incredible team. I mean, they are very talented. They're incredibly young, right? They're only going to improve, only get better. They have so many abundance of assets that they're at some point they're going to have to make a big swing just because they're going to have to unload some of these assets, right? So Oklahoma is in an excellent place, right? They're only going to improve. They're only going to get better. This was great experience for them. I know some people might look at it and go, they were up 17 and they blew it. It's a young team, right? Luka, Kyrie, right? They've been there. They've done this, right? And so I really was impressed by Oklahoma. And again, they're going to be formidable for years to come. Dallas, Kyrie and Luka, they've made it work. They've done an excellent job, right? I mean, it's still a little clunky at times, but for the most part, they are flourishing, right? I mean, they're two big time playoff performers that aren't afraid of the moment. It does hurt watching Kyrie out there just like slaying, just like torture teams. It's like, man, what could have been? Joe Tsai thought, I ain't sending him to the Lakers because, man, just imagine what the Lakers would have looked like these last year and a half if we had Kyrie Irving. But it's neither here nor there, right? Credit Dallas. It's good for Dallas. I personally don't think Dallas beats either Minnesota or especially Denver. We'll see which one advances and ends up playing Dallas, but you never know, right? I mean, again, can't rule out Kyrie, can't rule out Luka. That's going to be an excellent matchup one way or another. But the reason I want to talk about this, the reason I want to dive into this is not because I'm heartbroken about Kyrie, which I still am, and it's not because Dallas, is advancing and whatnot, because this is a Laker channel. But this does kind of bring the question and beg the question, and I've seen a lot of people bring it up, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. But that question is, should the Lakers have kind of positioned themselves and tanked to be in the bracket against Dallas and Oklahoma City? Now there was a lot of talk going into the play-in and everything of like, hey, we should maybe take this L and then go play whoever is in the Warrior King game and then beat them, and now we play the Thunder in the first round. And just going off of Oklahoma City, I think the Lakers probably run through the Thunder. I think the Lakers beat them in like maybe 5 or 6 at the most. Like, I don't see it going 7 or anything like that personally, right? We'll never really know. It's always a possibility that it goes the other way. But it just kind of felt like, they would have been undersized. They would have been undermanned. Like, the lack of experience really showed in this series against Dallas, right? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, like all these guys had that deep playoff run. Obviously, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they've won championships, particularly LeBron. Anthony Davis got the one here with the Lakers. So I do think that all of those factors would have really played into play, and I think that the Lakers ultimately would have beaten the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next up, you would have played the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I believe that the Lakers could beat Dallas, but Dallas has also kind of had the Lakers' number over the last few years. Now, playoffs are very different. You have a healthy LeBron, healthy Anthony Davis, guys cooking, guys show up. We probably have Jared Vanderbilt healthy and ready to go by that point, right? Because you would have kind of gotten through. He came back at the end of the Denver series. But let's say, you beat the Thunder and we go the other route, and then you jump in, play the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe now you have Vando, and we've seen what Vando's done to Luka, Kyrie, Anthony Edwards, like all these guys, right? He's done quite the job. And then, you see, the thing is that if Minnesota beats Denver tomorrow, it's going to highlight this even more. Because it's going to be like, man, if you would have tanked in that bracket, you would have played the Thunder, you could have beaten the Thunder, you would have played Dallas, you could have beaten Dallas, and then you would have played Minnesota, who many people think that the Lakers could beat. I think they could beat Minnesota, right? Minnesota's defense is A1, but they do have a lot of offensive issues, a lot of offensive struggles. Again, if we have Jared Vanderbilt, he's given Anthony Edwards some trouble, right? So can he kind of slow him down? Not just that, but a lot of guys would kind of build confidence along the way, right? Like, does D'Lo have a better series if he plays the Thunder over Denver, right? Because D'Lo had, like half the games was actually pretty good. One game he was great. Like, is he even better? Is Austin Reeves better? Because you're playing a team in Oklahoma City who there's not as much pressure. There's not this like thought of like, Denver's just had our number, right? Maybe you come in and you have a little more confidence than you would have otherwise. Just different matchups, different defenders, different everything, right? So maybe they get going and then you advance, go into Dallas. They continue to build confidence. Then you go into like, say, Minnesota and do that. Now, if you play Denver, I still think that the Lakers ultimately lose to Denver, right? I think it would have been the same result. Maybe it's different, right? Because, again, you could argue a couple factors, right? One, you could argue, again, if Jared Vanderbilt's back and healthy throughout that series, Christian Wood's probably back and healthy throughout that series. Again, if we played them in the conference finals. And those are two guys that, with something so marginal, could be the difference. Right? It could be a huge difference. And, again, guys are building confidence along the way. Right, like you get you beat the Thunder in 5 or 6. You build some confidence, carries over to Dallas. You beat Dallas in say 6. Now it carries over, and you go into Denver, and now you play Denver, and it's like, man, we got all this confidence. We can beat them. Let's go. They just came off of a tough 7-game series, right? Like we're in good position. We're in good shape. Let's go get this W. Right? There is that side of the coin where it's like, man, it's just, would that have been a completely different series had we played them in the Western Conference? But, there's still a lot on the other side. And personally, again, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, but me personally, I think the Lakers made the right decision. I know it's frustrating. I know it's like you're seeing these other teams and it's like, man, the Lakers could have beaten these teams, right? Which bodes well for next season and beyond for the Lakers. Because it's like, you're looking at these other teams and it's like, we could beat these teams. Even the roster we have right now, that's not counting if the Lakers upgrade and, make some moves. It's like if the Lakers just ran it back, right? You look at all these teams, assuming everything stands pat and there's not like a major shakeup or anything, but you're just like, you look at Dallas, you look at, the Oklahoma City Thunder, you look at these teams and it's kind of like, man, we could beat these teams. Right? So it's like Denver just seems to be that one giant that we cannot overcome, that we cannot overtake. But again, to me, it's one, we were terrible against Sacramento. Sacramento just had our number. So we would have played Sacramento. Do they have our number and beat us again, and now we don't even make the playoffs? I'd rather make it to the first round and, lose to Denver than not make the playoffs at all. Right? Because, that's a real question, right? You purposely tank, and now the basketball gods are like, okay, we gave you a couple breaks to get in. You want to tempt fate? Go sit down. Right? Like, enjoy your off season, right? Like, and I get it. It's like, well, if that happens, you're still the same result. You lost anyway. But again, it's more basketball. It's I'd rather have the chance. I know in hindsight we got ran through, but you still got the chance, right? Rather than just sitting at home. The other thing is too is like, the longer this goes on, like what do injuries look like with Anthony Davis and LeBron James? Anthony Davis got that little stainer or whatever happened to him in that Denver game where even that game might have been different. We might have won that game if Anthony Davis was good and healthy and good to go. And maybe you shake some stuff up. But point is like, there's just so many unknowns, so many variables that you can't take into account going in. Like, yeah, best case scenario, we get through the Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks, and then we play Minnesota, and everyone's healthy, and now we're looking at an NBA Finals against Boston, because Boston's going to run through everybody, right? So it's just like, I get the sentiment of like, this is why you do that. But again, there's just so many unknowns and so many different things that could have happened, right? And like, what if, I don't really think OKC beats us, but like, what if Dallas beat us, right? I think that would have been a lot worse than losing to Denver, right? Not in the sense of like, I'm one of the people that like, I want to go as far as we can. People will say like, oh, you lost in the third round. Like, okay, we still made it to the third round, right? Like, isn't the goal to advance as far as possible, right? Obviously you want to win a championship, but only one team gets to say they were good enough to do that every year. Right, and that was also another point that I was highlighting back when this was an option on the table for the Lakers, where I was like, look, they're either good enough or they're not. Right, like you're either that team that at the end of the season gets to say we were the one, it was us, or you're not, and the Lakers weren't. Right, so to me, it's like I am one of those people that I want to persist and go as far as possible. But again, like you lose to Dallas, that might look a lot different for the Lakers and the fan base and just, in the offseason. Like, where it's like Denver, it's just like, okay, they're that one. Like, now the perception is like, man, Denver's the only team we can't beat. If we could just get over that Denver mountain, we're champions, right? Like, but if you lose to a Dallas or something like that, it's like, all right, we definitely weren't beating Denver. And, now we ended up losing in the second round to Denver or to Dallas, and it's like we're not even good enough to beat Dallas, right? And it just changes the whole dynamic, changes the whole conversation, changes the entire outlook and point of view, and you're just like, man, this team's trash. Well, right now it's kind of like, hey, if we get a DeJounte Murray, right? Can you go get a Jared Allen, right? It's like, man, give me like DeJounte, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, or, go big and have Jared Vanderbilt and then go Jared Allen. Like, you get my point, right? Like, now it kind of feels like, man, if we just get that piece or two, right? It doesn't even necessarily have to be a superstar. Obviously, I love Donovan Mitchell, but even if it's not, right? It's just like, man, you get that bona fide third guy without breaking the bank. You maintain a certain level of depth. We're right there, baby. Let's go, right? It's like we have this idea of like, if we had DeJounte instead of D'Lo or Reeves, we probably beat Denver, right? Like, we have this idea of like, if we had this other guy, right, whoever it is, even not like a big blockbuster guy, just like that other guy, we might beat Denver. But if you lose to Dallas or you lose to somebody else, and it's like, now it's like, okay, so we are further away than we thought, right? Like, it's just, I believe the Lakers made the right decision, personally. But, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that the Lakers made the right decision? Do you agree? Do you disagree? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.